Welcome back to another self-care Sunday where I do a full self-care maintenance glow routine, whatever you want to call it, but we do it all in one day. I always pick just one day to get everything done. Do my hair, wash my hair, deep clean wash my hair, do my eyebrows, do my skincare, do a face mask, do my nails, all of that. We're gonna fix ourselves up and we're gonna come out looking brand new. Okay, we're gonna feel good, we're gonna look good, all of that. If you haven't checked out my previous videos before, go ahead and do that now. I have a bunch of self-care routines up already. Every routine looks a little different, so go ahead and check out the other routines if you like. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. So sit back with me, get your little coffee, and enjoy a very relaxful self-care routine.
First thing I want you to do is go light that candle because every self-care routine needs a nice lit candle. This one has scents of eucalyptus, which naturally lowers stress and relaxes you. I love it. I always like to start off my self-care routines by oiling my hair. That way the oil has plenty of time to really set into my scalp and into my ends while I do everything else. I'm going to be using this hair oil today, and the spray is just something that I'm going to use right before I hop into the shower. There really is no formula to this. I just spread it all over my scalp, especially the places that I feel like need the most attention or are the most dry. Be sure you're adding plenty to your scalp, but don't add too much because that's what's going to cause oiliness down the line. Now I spread it all over my ends. Again, be sure to add just the right amount, not too much, not too little. For this part, you can use your fingers, but I like to use a scalp massager just to make sure that oil is really deep into my scalp. This is also going to stimulate blood flow to your scalp, which can benefit your hair so much. It can make it thicker, it can make it longer, improve the density, all of that. I tie up my hair to make sure my hair is not in the way while I do everything else. Make sure it's not a super tight bun, just a loose bun to get your hair out of your way. Next, I go in with this detox spray just in the places where I feel like I have a little bit of flakiness or dryness, just to make sure that place gets extra attention. Now we move on to cleansing our skin, and I love using these little wrist scrunchies just to make sure the water doesn't drip down my arms, because who likes that feeling? That feeling is atrocious. After 60 seconds of cleansing, I use a clean towel and just pat dry my skin. Now we're going to move on to the facial hair. I do this monthly, and no, it doesn't grow back thicker, it doesn't grow back darker. It still looks like peach fuzz every time I do this, but of course it might be different for you, so just make sure you patch test before you do that. And look at how much hair. That is a month's worth of growth. I use an oil as the buffer between the razor and my skin, just to make sure I'm not being too harsh on my skin. Make sure you're always using a buffer and not doing it dry. Now moving on to my eyebrows, I just use a tweezer. I'm very old-fashioned and I just use a regular old tweezer to get all of the hairs. Waxing irritates my skin more than I would like it to, so tweezers are usually the way to go. I use the same oil I used previously for my eyebrows as well, and I use a razor to clean up the peach fuzz around the eyebrows, which just makes them look so much cleaner and more shaped. And lastly, we move on to the stash, and that should be it for the facial hair segment. That is everything. My face is literally so clean and so clear now. Not only is that really good for skincare, but that's also really good for makeup application. Now, I don't do this often, but every once in a while, I'm feeling a little extra, so we're gonna tint our eyebrows. I just use this men's beard dye that you can get from Walgreens, Target, CVS. I make my little formula based off the instructions. I try to apply it to my eyebrows as evenly as possible, leave it on for 10 to 15 minutes, and then I clean it off with the cotton pad right before I'm about to get in the shower. And that is it. Not a crazy drastic difference, but just enough. Now moving on to the shower portion of this routine, I make sure to use a very deeply cleansing shampoo first. Anything that deeply cleanses, exfoliates, or detoxifies the scalp will usually work just as good, and that gets rid of all the oils and all the buildup I have. But I also always go in with a second shampoo, especially if you go a long time without washing your hair. I recommend double shampooing at least once a week. And lastly, now that my hair is nice and clean, I go in with the hair mask and just tie this up into a loose bun again. While that sits in my hair, I go ahead and move on to body care. So I wash my body, I exfoliate, and lastly I shave using a shaving cream. Make sure you rinse out your hair before coming out of the shower. And now we're ready to move on to body care. Now I have dry skin, so what I've learned to do is when I come out of the shower, I don't dry off my skin. Instead, I apply all of my lotions and all of my creams to damp skin. So come out of the shower, don't dry off, and immediately go in with your lotions. I promise you, this is gonna make such a difference. I've seen such a huge difference in my skin. It doesn't feel itchy, it doesn't feel dry, and it just looks so much better, and it also feels so much better. It feels so soft. So that's a little hack for you. I usually use 2 lotions or creams, one that's really moisturizing and one that's gonna make me smell amazing. Moving on to post-shower hair care routine now. I'm using this hair serum by Gizu. I've seen such a difference in my hair. It feels so much softer and just looks healthier overall. I am gonna be heat styling it, and when I do that, I usually like to go light on the products that I use just because I don't want my hair to feel too heavy while I'm styling it, and I don't want it to get too oily too quickly. I'm gonna use a few spritz of this detangler before I comb out my hair. If you're brushing or combing out your hair while it's wet, that can be super damaging for your hair and cause a lot of breakage. So make sure you're using a leave-in conditioner or a detangler first. My hair is getting so long, it's about the point where I want to cut it all off. You know what I'm talking about when we all get to that point. And I know I'm gonna regret it, but still I'm debating it. I'm gonna wrap my hair up in this microfiber towel for just a few minutes, just to make sure it soaks up the rest of the water. Also, make sure you're not using a regular towel on your hair. That can also be super damaging and cause a lot of breakage. After a few minutes, I go in with my leave-in conditioner. Again, just a few spritz. I like to keep it light and then just spread it around in my hair with the comb or with my hand. I'm gonna let all those products sit in my hair while it air dries just for a little bit, and while it air dries, I'm gonna pin it back. I didn't want to do that before my hair care because my hair needs attention while it's air drying, and I didn't want to do it after I style my hair because then I have to wash the face mask off. You know when teachers used to say there is a method to my madness? I'm like, guys, there is a method to my madness. Like, there is formula that you have to follow. It makes sense. Just trust me. I love this face mask by Caudalie. It works almost instantly. It's easy to use. It's easy to wash off. Very self-explanatory. After 10 minutes, I wash it off and then I go in with my skincare. On my self-care days or my maintenance days, I like to keep my skincare routine afterwards very light just because I've already done a whole bunch of stuff to my face, like with the razor, with the face mask. So a good, nourishing, hydrating, and moisturizing skincare routine is all my skin needs. I use the hydrating essence first, and then I use the Cocoa Kind barrier serum, which is amazing. Now I'm using this moisturizer by Caudalie, which I feel like is so perfectly thick but so moisturizing. In general, I have pretty dry skin, so I love me some skincare that's just going to be super hydrating and moisturizing for my skin. And to lock everything in, I'm using a facial oil. This one is by my small business, and I want to say, if you've been supporting my small business from my videos, thank you so much. You have no idea how much it means to me. You are literally an angel. Don't forget to support your small businesses, especially your local businesses. Now, stay with me. We're on the last final part. We're gonna move on to actually heat styling our hair. I'm using this Olaplex blow drying mist. It's supposed to give me volume. I'm not 100% sure if it works. This is only my second time using it. You guys know I like to give you a full review once I truly like or truly hate the product. Now, I'm using the Dyson Airstrait tool because I did feel like straightening it. Also, this tool is just so quick and easy to use. Like, it blow dries and dries your hair at the same time while straightening it. Okay, I just realized I'm using a different Dyson tool to blow dry my hair first, just to make sure it's not completely wet before I go in with the Dyson Airstrait, which now I am using, just to avoid any confusion. Now, I'll link this below, but I do have a whole video up on my review, my first impressions on the Dyson Airstrait. This is a fairly new tool, and if you're like me and you like having your hair straight sometimes but you don't want to damage it with a flat iron, then this is definitely a tool you could consider purchasing. Again, I have a whole video up on my channel already. I will link it below. Make sure you check that out. This is what the hair looks like, completely straight and completely dry. I finish it off with some hair oil just because my ends always look super dry, but you should always finish your hair off with hair oil anyways. But this is the finished result. I'm pretty happy with it. I have never had my hair be this long, so I know younger me would kill for this hair. Like, she would kill for it. Anyways, besties, that is the end of this routine. My skin is glowing. My hair is flowing. I didn't think that was gonna rhyme, but it did, and I'm pretty happy with that. I feel great. I feel amazing. I feel refreshed. I feel clean. And the best part is that now I'm ready to take on the rest of the week because I feel and look so good. If you like this routine, make sure you check out my other routines on my page. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I love replying to you guys. Thank you for watching, and I love you.